Hello everybody and welcome to this lecture how to create a nice project poster like this in Adobe Illustrator and in Affinity Designer. I show you both so you can see how the tools among both programs are pretty much the same, just the interface or workflow might be slightly different. All the files for this exercise are supplied in the download link. Here, for example, is the image and the text. So before we actually go ahead and go into any program, let's take a look at this poster one more time. Because what is effective layouting? Is this a nice look? Well, our material should look nice afterwards, attractive. But actually we should not focus on looks. Looks will actually come afterwards automatically. What we have to focus on first is hierarchy, readability. What do I try to talk about? So this is, for example, a poster for a course. Furniture design, that's the name. So that's the biggest one, most important piece. Then the next second important one is, well, when is it? Then also, what is the course about? And you see that now step by step, the text gets, for example, smaller. And then here we have a set of more elements that talk about who is this class for, what they're going to learn, and so forth. So you can see how we are simply using bigger or smaller text, a bold or normal cut. You already create a visual hierarchy. You can close your eyes and you can open your eyes and you instantly can see that there is a visual structure. Plus, a neat trick is also to highlight certain elements. Now here I put yellow color right behind certain keywords. Okay. If we take a look at the images, you see they're just not randomly on this page. 50% of the page is used by this bigger upper image so that the text then is readable. There is a white rectangle behind. Same with the text here, a white rectangle. And then 3 more images. They all have the same height. They are not necessarily left and right the same width, but that is fine. And then to break up this kind of also static grid of clean edges, I have one image here that has a white background and is cropped and slightly comes into the page. It's kind of like a piece of surprise. And if you then take a look at the text area down here, you can see that there's an even amount of white empty space around it. We can literally draw a rectangle over this text, and then each text block, the text is horizontally aligned and left side is aligned. And even here, the F for furniture, the I of introduction, the W of who, the P of prerequisite, everything is on a vertical line. So you see there's a lot of consistency, and I think even here this is nearly, no, it's actually not really lining up, but this could have been another idea of trying to line up elements. And then even here, this image tries to follow the height of the text too, or the baseline. And these tidy up techniques, working with a grid, working with guidelines, working with the media, putting this neatly together, that already is then later, together with a nice typography work, so different fonts and sizes, what will make your presentation actually look attractive, easy to read, and thus professional. And that's it. You don't need to have more crazy illustration skills or anything else. That could be nice decorative elements, but it's not really necessary. You see that this already by itself, the tools are very basic, the medias are very basic, but the arrangement is quite nice. Okay, so before I continue, let's take a look at asset management. What does that mean? So here I have a folder poster. The download link to this is also inside the video description. And in here, I have all my images I'm going to use. It's all grabs from the internet and a text file. Very good. So all this I would like to put into Illustrator or into Affinity Designer. And this is very good to keep these at a centralized position, because when I have to manipulate these images, I know exactly where they are. In addition, fonts. Mac and PC, that come with their own fonts. If you work with Adobe, one of the advantages actually of the Adobe subscription is you have access to the Adobe font library, which is quite good. When I was a student, I had hundreds and hundreds of fonts, and I disagreed with my typography professor, who said, you might need 4 or 6 fonts. The rest is just gimmick. And yeah, 20 years later, I agree with him. There are a few fonts I really like because they work, and I use those really a lot. So what I'm talking about, fonts is actually a really interesting topic, because you need to think about, what do we do with it? We write text. So what we write has to read well. So you need to be very careful about what type of font you use. Both computers, Mac and PC, come really with a good set of easy to read fonts. I personally, and this is just my preference, really also like the Roboto font. It also comes with quite a wide amount of different cuts, which is very, very good. So it gives me a lot of freedom to play with. So I'm going to download it. This type also has a slab version, which is quite nice. Now with the slab serifs, beautiful. Download this one too. Okay, so I will drag these out. Mac and PC, pretty much the same. You download the zip files there and there. I'm just unpacking them, and then I put them in here. So think about, maybe at one point later you want to archive also everything what you created, put it on a hard disk and save it. In the meantime, you might get new computers, so you want to make copies even of the fonts you're using. So for example here, this stuff. How do I install this now? And Windows, you just double click it. On the Mac, I could also double click and then here say install font, or I can also use Fontbook. Here, for example, I have Acco, which is another font I use a lot. Universe, LT, that's really nice. So in here, I will just take these 2 folders and drag them in there. And there they are. Perfect. Very good. Now I have access to them. So we have now everything ready to go into our first program. Let's say Illustrator. So here we are in Illustrator. We can click on New File, 8.5 by 11 inches, and Portrait. CMYK color is okay for printing. If this should only be for PDF, you can go with RGB. I keep this at CMYK, it's safer. And then for raster effect, medium, this is okay if you want to just do a normal print. If you want to create something for high quality prints, then maybe go 300 dpi. Okay, there we are. Tool palettes, document, more stuff, and then here the main menu. To navigate, middle mouse button, pan around, and then hold the Alt or Option key, and then mouse wheel zooms in and out. Okay, we would like to bring all these images over. So I select all those. Whoops. Drag them in. There we are. So now I can move the stuff around. That's already how layouting starts. You start thinking the arrangement, the size, and such. When I click on an object, I have this bounding box there visible, and that is actually hide bounding box there. I work with this primarily. Illustrator has also transform tools here. Honestly, I never really bother with them. They feel kind of like archaic. And then I would like this to, snap to there. Mouse button, click, and you see how I can distort this. If I hold Shift, then it scales proportionally. Okay. Be careful that it snaps, for example, correctly. It snapped to the page. Alternatively, little trick. I hold Shift and Alt Option. You see how this gets a tiny bit bigger. So I'm building in a little bit of bleed. This is like an old printing trick because I print this image bigger. Then the page, this is also then printed on a bigger sheet than 8.5, and with a scissor I would cut this trim off. If this is only for PDF, we just do it this way. Just make sure this lines up correctly. Goodie. So now you go to there and you see all these smart guides happening. There are actually smart guides there. And we have also more snapping here. And guides. This is actually then for the actual guides. I will introduce in a moment too. So hold Shift. Yeah, sometimes it snaps there. See, I needed to zoom in a little bit. There, okay. Hold Shift. Hold Shift and zoom there. Okay, it snapped. And then suck. Okay. I can with Shift select all three and then move them around, line them up. Hold Shift again. There. Did it snap correctly? Yeah, it did. Cool. Okay. There, now you see, well, it's actually not too complicated. It's not. This one here with Shift, I scale down maybe to here. This is like way too tight, so I make this image on purpose a little bit smaller. I don't know yet really to what degree. And I can keep it here. This will be essentially cut off at one point. There is a nasty issue here, which I will show how we can clean this up too. So when I select this image, does this actually have a trim tool? Let's do this the old way. This is actually good to show. So we will create a rectangle. On here, click and drag, and I drag this rectangle just to here. Then select tool, select the rectangle. This color here is transparent. Very good. You also see in the layers, here's everything. And then I select the image, hold Shift, select the rectangle. See these two are selected. Object, clipping mask, make. Zack. Now you see how this image is actually clipped. The original image, if I double click, is still there. Then up here I can go back. I can also open this here. There's my rectangle. Here's my image. If I click this, this image is selected. Then I can even scale this more. I can even move this around if I want to. Okay, very good. Nope. Then this I will move maybe to here. And this whole thing, I can click this rectangle maybe. Yeah, I would like to change this image one more time. So I just want to get rid of this line clipping there on top. Very good. So that's gone. And now with the arrow key, can I move this one? Yeah, with the arrow key, I can move this image too. Yeah. So you see, I clipped away this black area. To get this clipping to undo it, just select the kind of like this clipped group and say release there, then you're back. I could also have selected this rectangle and then from here rotated this rectangle correctly. Where is it now? There it is. Position it where I want this to be, and then I can do the clipping. Okay, so U, Shift U. This is actually how you select objects. This way you select objects in the layer, and this way you select objects really inside your document. It's a little bit funny how Illustrator works. I know this program since basically it's out. I never really thought that it was that intuitive. Anyway, that's a different discussion. So, yeah, how do we bring our text over? And this is actually not too bad. Maybe before I continue, when I click this image, yeah, so there's this, it says linked file. You see here also it says embed or added in Photoshop. What this basically means is this image is not inside the Illustrator document. So let's save. And there is the poster. And I call this poster. Okay. Yep, that's fine. Let's hide this. So this poster, yeah, it's 3.6 megabyte. It's actually quite big already, but it is this document fetches the images. It loads them on the fly, which means if I edit this image, I will just do a little little manipulation here and save. Now I go to Illustrator. Oh, something got changed. Show me. Suck. You see how this is updated. So that is why you do not want to embed images. I mean, you can, but then you cannot edit them as easy anymore. Okay, so that's the whole reason behind why I'm showing having your assets in this project folder and structuring everything nicely. Okay, so now we have this text here. I will open this, copy, and paste in Illustrator. And I put this to somewhere here to the side. I would like to work on my introduction piece first. Nope, that's incorrect. Double click and then I can select no. Come on. Okay. Jeez. There. Copy and paste. This is just a small element now. So on the right side now I can see how big is this text. Maybe 24 might be better. This I would like to be a different font. So here, let's, where is the search? Oh, I can just type this in here, Robo, there. And maybe, now you see when I go over it, it shows me the type of font. Or maybe the Robo Italic. Okay, well, what about the slab? Oh, the slab is maybe not bad. Okay, 24, I don't know yet the size. Then I select all this text. 24, that is way too big. Let's make this maybe 16. And then we type in, or I use the Robo, there we are, the normal one. Okay, good. Introduction to something. Oh, you cannot drag over the text area because then instantly it creates a new text frame. So you have to really, you can see how the cursor changes. Go right in front of the eye, or with the shift and then middle, the arrow keys, I'm going up and down and select the text. Copy, there we are. Control V to paste, or Apple V. There we are. So what font size do we have here? 16. So this easily can be 16 too, maybe. And let's say here, Robo Medium. Yeah, Roboto. Okay. The text, as you can see, is very hard to read. Okay, so we need to help readability here. We can add a black rectangle over it. Fill color. Make this maybe white. There we are. Go to layers. So here's my rectangle. There is these are my images here. Here's my text. So this rectangle, I will move over the images, but then it's still under the text. Okay, nice. Maybe I can line these pieces up. So you and you, and properties. Okay, here, vertical alignment. Nice. This one, copy and paste. And I bring this over to there. It snaps. Also here, bring this lower there. Yeah. Okay. This is maybe too small. Okay. Maybe 20. And do we have actually a light italic, medium italic, maybe let's go with italic right now. Okay, so I will show the ruler right now. There it is, show ruler. And I bring a ruler in. So, and then not a ruler, a guideline. What's a guideline? The guideline. Is this guideline locked? Unlock guideline. Thank you. Right mouse button it was. I can move around and there you see it snaps to something. The guideline is very useful because then, as you can see, I snap these pieces together. Whoop. It's nice and tidy up. I can also select both text boxes and then arrange it on the left side. Who is this class for? Okay, it shows that I'm not really using Illustrator a lot, that I use Affinity because I'm always messing up the text selection. Let's bring this over. Okay, there's number one. Prerequisites. That's a really long thing too. Bring this to there. Okay. Oh no, what's going on? I will explain this in a moment. Here, this is one text. This goes to there. And you see how very methodically, step by step, I'm bringing this all in. Okay, so when we have the text thing here, I have a text tool and text. So I can click and write something and enter and enter. And then you see how I can stretch this. Terrible. We don't want this. If I click and drag a text box. Okay. I'm adjusting the text frame. You see the text flows, it does not scale. So essentially here, these pieces I move away. This is what I want to do now. I'm creating myself 1, 2, 3, 4 text boxes. No? And then copy and paste. Copy and paste. Oh, interesting. It copied that distorted attitude. Thank you, Illustrator. That literally made no sense. And paste. And then copy and paste. Copy and paste. Perfect. Delete, delete, delete. There's a red plus. What does the red plus mean? The red plus means there's more text than currently is visible. Let's go to here. Now I will go to Robolight. This might actually be not a bad idea. 10 points. 10 points might be a tiny tick too small for a poster, but who cares? We can adjust these things later. So bring this over. You see how I lined up everything on the, or I tried to line it up there. It's not there on the guideline. And then is there anywhere else a guideline? There it is. When we go to Where's outline? Good. This is actually also really useful because now I'm not distracted by images or anything. Oh, I see. Okay, so this is the widest text frame, so I make all these others wide too. Very good. And then you stay down here, you go to there, you can go up. Okay, okay, yeah. There, residential. Oh, interesting. There, something is missing. Should be more text. There we are. Oh, there's actually there was this red icon. There it is. Suck. Okay. I mentioned before I'm really not liking the snapping actually in Illustrator. It never was very good. When I was a student, I started studying if not Affinity, Macromedia Freehand, which was the de facto perfect program to do this type of work. And then Adobe bought the program and stopped developing it. So let's go back to GPU preview. There we are. So you also Robo thin, no light. Thin is thin is not bad. Let's go with light. Okay, and then 10, 10, you should be 10 too. Maybe this is, I don't know what's going on here, so let's clean this up. There we are. Bring this over. Very good. Yeah. Not too bad so far, no? This one I will delete. And now what we can do is the following. We can start styling this text. Okay, so you... what about we make you a medium? Oh, that looks not too bad. Okay. Medium 2. And medium, or maybe a bold. Let's try this out. Compare. Because this is actually something we can so easily do now. And maybe a black. Might be too much. Yeah. This is actually good. With the italic, is the italic easier to read? Now this is just a question, huh? So maybe, how do we streamline this all now? So when I select all this, where is type styles? Character styles. Hey, what is this? This is actually a really nice tool. So for a poster, it doesn't make much sense, but if you have multiple pages, this is going to be super useful. Create a new style. Yes, thank you. And then I select this, create a new style. So select all this, style 1. Did you notice what happened? Yeah, no? This, yeah, it's a style. I'm applying this style. So why is this actually really useful? Let me show you. Welcome to how, like in layouting, it should work. Double clicking, we can call this text bold. And then this is here maybe text normal or text body. Double click now. I would like to edit this. Where did they hide this now? Oh, you need to double click, not on the text, but to the side. Then we get into this dialog. That was very logical. So general, we have basic formats here. So light, what about we make this thin? You see how this got adjusted, or italic. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Then here I make this light italic or thin italic. Okay, so now if I select this and say you're this, and then you are this, very good. And I have nothing selected. And I double click here on the finger, go to there and say, nah, make this back maybe medium. There. I think this explains it even without me calling this out. So this is basically what styles are for. I can only recommend you using it. They're very good. You and you, maybe vertical. Oh, there's an empty line below. Or where is it? Yeah, no, this is better. Thank you. There was like an empty text line. So something what I did in this design when I made this at the beginning too, or for the first time, I mean, I brought this one down. If I hold the shift key, it snaps. How can I override the snapping on? I don't go on something, but let's say here, there I stop, and then I stop down here. So now I can select this image. Okay, good. Click and hold shift. Click and hold shift. I try to line this up. So there's even a visual arrangement, an order kind of like between the text. Maybe this is also a little bit too far how this comes in. Maybe I will line this up. So click this with the arrow key. I move this over. Now I can double click where's the image. So I needed to double click right where this vector was. Double click to the outside so I can exit it. No, double click one more time on where's the vector. There's the vector. It really did a terrible snapping there. Very good. Okay, we can show and hide the rulers and guides. So smart guides, show guides, hide guides, hide guides. Where is this hidden now? That's actually interesting. I don't find this right now. Embarrassing. Hold on, let's pause. Well, that was quite funny. It's right there. Hide guides. Wah, wah. Okay, very good. So we're pretty much reaching kind of like the end. Now you can continue moving things around, adjusting proportions. I had, for example, maybe commercially residential here. This is maybe one last thing to take a look at. Tabs. So when we go to this is under window and type tabs, and there we are. Okay, so I double click, do one there, chunk, maybe a little bit further. See, it didn't really add it, so I will remove this tab, select all the text, and then add a tab. Very good, because now on all these lines, kind of like in Word, this all moves. And now I can move maybe this over. Oh, this overshoots. Okay, so in this case here, I make this even longer. So enter, bring this over. There we are. So this is now nice and clean. So that's kind of like what the tabs do. And to bring over maybe some of the other elements. So this is in there. This can't go over. So this email can't go over to the next line previously. Maybe this way it does. So we need to sometimes also make change how the flow is, because this is now more logical. This is better. I'm breaking the grid a little bit. You see how they got slightly different. And now to highlight, the text. Unfortunately, this is something where to give this the background of the text a color you need to use InDesign. Wah, wah. Yeah. But here we do this simply this way. Go with a nice orange or yellow or warm yellow there. This is nice. Then this I move to here. In the layouts, I bring this one to there and can zoom in, scale this down, scale this up, bring this over, try to even this out nicely. Yeah, copy and paste. Let's say here for the internship. And this is something I would only do really at the end, now when the design is done. And maybe now it comes down to pepping it up. Okay, there it is. Now, then we can save and export it as a PDF or export it as a JPEG. But this basically sums everything up what you need to know, how to create a nice layout. It's as you can see now, the grid, aligning objects, guidelines, just playing with text, and then creating a visual hierarchy. Nothing else. And maybe correcting this issue here. It's kind of funny that actually it was floating. So now I will decide you will come higher. Nothing is selected. Show guides. There we are. And then here, bring this over. Scale this one down. Yeah, hide guides. Right mouse button is what I did. And hide guides there. Perfect. Yeah. You see? You have to have fun and be logical, and then you will end up with good designs. That's it. Let's take a look at how we can recreate this layout in Affinity Designer. So new document, letter, 8.5 by 11, 300 dpi, millimeter, based on what you would like to work with. Portrait, CMYK color, create, toolbar, menu, some extra tools, and here are the layers and all the stuff. So you might notice that, oh, this actually looks similar to Illustrator. Okay, so how do we get this stuff over? Same process. I can drag and drop this stuff in, move these things around. There we are. Snapping, we have actually up here. There we can turn this on and have multiple snapping options. I find, to be quite honest, the snapping to work significantly better here. Click, click, click. There. I'm not holding Shift key because in Affinity, when you scale, it scales it proportionally. Only when you have multiple objects like this selected, now I can scale non-proportional. So I hold Shift and snap there. Snapping, as you see, easy. In Photoshop, I needed to zoom in a little bit. I mean, Illustrator. Now, middle mouse button, move around, Alt or Option, scroll wheel, zoom in and out. Same command. Since we are dealing here with the images, let me show you how easy this is to work around. There we are. Okay, here is the vector crop tool. Zip. Let's zoom in a little bit. Zip. And zip. There. Now this image got cropped. I have here the image, the cropping, and here's a layer of all the other images. So that's one way how to do this. I will actually undo everything. So there's this image one more time. And I will do the technique with the rectangle. So here's my rectangle. Let's say to there, we would like to change the color. So we go to where is color? Here's color. So fill should be transparent. The outline we can see. Very good. move this to here, zoom in, move this one down. When I hold the Alt Option key, I turn off the snapping. There we are. This is really good. Okay. And 2 layers. So I will select this and drag this onto there. Did you see what I just did? Via drag and drop, I created this clipping. And in Illustrator, that was selecting the 2 objects, go to the main menu, and then adjust something there. And don't get me wrong, Adobe Illustrator is a very powerful program. I simply find it is outdated, the way how it works. They never modernized it. Affinity is very new. To compete, they needed to envision this more modern. Okay, so also here, hold Shift. In this case, I need to hold it to do the alignment, scaled proportionally. Okay, so how do I do the text? I can just copy this, go to here, paste. There it is. Select this, copy, go to here, paste. There it is. Then I can move this around here, move this around. Okay. Oops. I'm holding the Apple key and move the mouse wheel. This actually does a rotation. We can reset the rotation there. Very good. So you go to there, you go to there. We wanted to have some rectangles behind it. Rectangle and rectangle. Now let's make these actually white. I also have the fill color here. Soup. There we are. Where's this other? There's this other rectangle and there. Let's change here the orientation. What's first, what's second. Also really nice here when I click an object in the layer. It is also truly selected inside here, and Illustrator is not. I never really understood why they do it this way in Illustrator. Literally, to me, makes no sense. Maybe there's a reason behind it. I just didn't really understand it yet. So there we are. I can, you see, move this around. This is kind of like a, like a text box. So I'm positioning this a little bit. Then let's take a look at the alignment tools, for example. If I select this and this, I have here, there's my alignment, left and you and you. There. Okay. To create a guideline from the ruler, you drag something in and there it is. And I can just drag this onto the guidelines. Look how beautiful it works. Again, you saw in Illustrator it was a little bit choppy. Now I can, if I want to, align this guideline with this part of the image, for example, and make the text go to there. Let's work with the text. So here, this I would like to be Robo, but which one am I going to use? So I clicked on this part here and maybe the bold. Okay. Size 24, very good. Selecting all this. Oh, look at this, how you can drag the text here. This is the way how it should work in Illustrator. It doesn't. I should stop complaining about Illustrator. They're not there to defend themselves. So here, I will set this to regular and go smaller with the font size, maybe like this. Okay, this is one way how you can access actually the font information. You can also, where's the stuff here? Character, yeah. So character, that was how it's called. Here we can type in Robo and then, as you can see, literally the same tools. It's just a different interface. This is kind of like based on what you select. You see this updates and then these other standard palettes. So I'm gonna go to here because I find this is very easy to see in the video. There we are. I would like to fold table alignment. I'm looking for some features here. Auto. I want this to be auto. Also here, set this to auto. Very good. So this needs to be wider. I can make this more down. There we are. We have what's called a baseline offset. This is kind of like what you can do here. You see how I'm moving these lines closer together or further apart. So maybe here I'm just compressing this a little bit more. Same amount of text, just closer together. There. And then this, yeah, I can scale till it changes there. Okay. Not too complicated, no? Maybe here. These two I would like to get closer. Looks like I should only select this one. This has to go up. Yeah, there. That was maybe a little bit too close. Let's make this a tick wider. Very good. And then we have these elements here. Copy and paste. There we are. The next one, copy and paste. And select this one, copy and paste. And here, copy and paste. Very good. You go to there. You go to here. No, you go to there. Okay, so then I will select all here and then say auto, 10, so I'm scaling them down. Okay. So with this icon down here, you see I'm scaling the text box, but then also the font. Or with this, I just scale the text box, but I do not touch actually the font. And again, these are just standard designed or illustration typography tools. They're not specific to this program. It's just common tools, which is why I'm saying if you know Adobe, you know Affinity. If you know Affinity, you know Adobe. And as a student, well, you can ask yourself, do you want to give Adobe the money or do you want to support Affinity and essentially have the same tools to use? You can do the same work. Maybe the interface is different. Let's continue with a little bit more about topography. So when I brought these text boxes in, as you can see, there's a nice offset between each text line. And that is actually part of a character setting right now. So when I go to View, Studio, here is, for example, Paragraph, which I put in here already. And look at this. If I set this to 0, there you can see how this line is being removed. Again, what is a paragraph? Well, if you have, well, you know what a paragraph is, but in typography, this basically means when I write my text, I can give the text a font and a style. And I can also give paragraphs a style. So for example, every paragraph should be a certain amount of points away from each other. Every paragraph should have the first word indented by this amount of points. Since here we changed the baseline offset, if I set this back to 0 for the paragraph, now I can go back and, oops, wrong setting, adjust this one here. Good. Now here I will go ahead and play around till, in terms of typography, this all looks good. There we are. Very nice. Thank you. Let's zoom in a little bit more. I will double click this, and here now we could say I would like to have Robo, the arrow key down, arrow key to the right. Yeah, there we are. Okay, then I can select this. Maybe I make this light italic. Yeah, okay. That's not too bad. Good. All this here, on this, and on top, I would like to turn into a new style. Okay, there's my style, and say class bold. And here I will give this a new style, class body. I just made up this name class. It's just because this is for this class. So that means I can go ahead and then add this here too. There's body, there's bold. You see again, like in Illustrator, same tools. I can also access this right here. And there. But here, as you can see, it goes a little bit quicker. I use really terrible words. Class, here, and as each starts with a B too. There, very nice. Cool. Okay. Yeah, so if I now go ahead and say this particular style, maybe I would like to modify or edit, then the other styles will be, or the other elements will be updated exactly the same way as you saw this before. So if I click on this one here, it doesn't really do anything. So where can I edit actually these styles? So let's go to here. Then there we have styles. Oh, there was something. It actually disappeared. But this is not the type of styles now which we are actually looking for, because it's just vector styles, etc. We want to have here's the text styles. What is that? So here we are. No, text styles. So there, double click, and then we can go ahead and adjust those. So maybe this I will make 12. You see, they're all updated. Beautiful. Cool. Okay, I mean, the rest could be then more or less following the same format. How to adjust everything. Here you see again how beautiful the snapping, etc. works. In my opinion, much better. We have here residential, so I will erase these parts here and then bring this over. Okay. So I have to say the tab system in Affinity is pretty much nearly there. What it does not have is the tab text ruler. But with a little bit of a workaround, we can figure this out. So let's go to the tab stop. And here now I press tab and tab. Let's see if I move this. Oh, what happened here? This kind of jumped oddly. I select all the text and then here I type in plus. And if I move this, what's going on? I don't really see much changing. Oh, look. Oh, there, something's changing now. So basically, with 43 from the left side to here, that's now 43 millimeters. No? So now basically I can move these. So it works slightly different. So, and then here you enter and tap, flop, jumps over to there. Beautiful. Okay, very good. Maybe these two we bring over. How do we do the yellow background part? Same way. We can select here a rectangle, Then we go to fill, select a nice color we like. There we are. Bring this to there. There's the layer thing. Bring this to here. Zoom in. And then we can position this as needed. The arrow keys, I move this around. Copy and paste. It actually puts it at the same position, not an Illustrator on top, which was really irritating and annoying. There we are. And voila. Now we can continue. Oh, I rotated that view again. Perfect. So you see pretty much the same process. There are a few tiny details. For example, here in Affinity, the text tab ruler isn't there yet, but then the whole clipping process works so much more intuitive. Inside the layer system, it's drag and drop. And there's one more thing I now would like to show. And this is more for those who are interested in looking into Affinity, why I personally started to really prefer Affinity as a product line more than actually the Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign line. So here I am inside Publisher now, which is like InDesign, and there is my Affinity poster. By the way, if I go to here, double click, and there is the text ruler, including the tab. So it is there, just in Publisher, not yet in Designer. What else is actually there or is the same? I don't know if you noticed that. For example, the whole layer system, the whole interface is, this is Photoshop, and this is the vector environment, is the same. Why did they do this? And now this is the selling point. You see these three icons here: InDesign, Illustrator, Photoshop. So I have the three work environments inside one software. When you have Publisher, you get the Publisher tools. If you have Photo, you get the Photo tools. If you go Affinity, you get the Vector Designer tools. And if you own all three inside Publisher, it is you can access all. So if I now would like to edit, for example, an image, let's say I would like to erase a certain part, but I would like this to be non-destructive. Okay, so here's my image. There is my layer mask. There is my brush. Okay, I'm just layer brushing this. This is like what I do in Photoshop, but I do this right inside a layout environment program. Let's save this. Let's open this back in Affinity Designer. I'm just opening this in Affinity Designer on purpose so you see, oh, look at this. There is that layer. I want this layer to be deleted. Thank you. And save. Okay, let's close this. Let's go to Affinity Photo. Even Photo can open the same file. All three programs use exactly the same file. There we are. Maybe I would like to add another, in Photo, another vector tool. Oh, look at that. In the photo environment, I have exactly the same vector tools in a basic set I have in Affinity Designer. This is amazing. I don't understand why Adobe doesn't do it the same way. Go in there. Nope, that was incorrect. There. Now this is clipped. Perfect. Save this. Okay. Close this. Let's go back to Publisher. Now this is all document. Let's open this again. There, now I can go into Publisher and adjust the vectors the same way how I created them in Affinity Designer, or I switch to the environment here. I think we all can agree on that this is pretty genius. one file format, unified tools across all three applications, and even in Publisher, you can work on a document using the tools from all three programs. And that's the main reason why I prefer working with Affinity, unlike Adobe, which has one file format for Photoshop, one file format for InDesign, while one file format for Illustrator. And there's also a process and a reason for that. I just feel it's outdated.